Weird. Usually when noise gets into my signal like that, it means something's about to change, but I don't feel any different. I am not a huge fan of really negative reviewing. Personally, I think life is too short to watch bad TV on purpose. But a promise is a promise, and I've already put it off for too long. So, here we go.
Time to get serious.
You know, when you think about it, comic books and TV shows actually have a lot in common. The first issue of any given comic book sets up the characters and the situation that will unfold over time over a number of issues. The first episode of a TV show also introduces characters in a situation that will unfold over a number of episodes. So why the hell do TV adaptations of comic books always suck so much? Really, for years, superheroes on TV were either just teenagers with superpowers or playing up the mask and name things for all the camp comedic value. Until Heroes. It was beautiful. It had a great cast, eye-popping special effects, mystery, intrigue, likable and compelling characters, and a villain so terrifying that Hannibal Lecter, Jigsaw, and Michael Myers would run for cover. Heroes was the superhero show that almost changed everything.
Oh my...
Almost. Turns out that the creative minds behind Heroes actually had no idea what they were doing, and that show went down the crapper fast. But NBC remembers what it is to have a glimpse of nerd godhood, and now they want back into that pantheon. Here's how I imagine the meeting went.
The heroes had expansive CGI powers. Where did we go wrong?
Maybe it was our heroes spending most of their time worrying about their boring personal lives then saving the day.
No, that wasn't it.
Or how about the ridiculous conspiracies of the really stupid character sabotage?
No, that wasn't it.
Maybe it was the expensive CGI superpowers.
That was it. Okay, this time, remake it, but lose the superpowers and make them all circus performers.
Because looking like you have actual superpowers is just the same as having them. That's brilliant!
Make sure they got the costumes and the nicknames too, okay? And then also ditch those stupid little personal lives. Geeks don't care about that. Geeks want things like... what do they want? They want things like comic books, so make sure there's a comic book in it, and make sure that it involves people with capes and tights.
Sir, you're a genius! By this time next year, Comic-Con will love us again!
Go!
How did it go? How do you think? Here's my review of the first and only season of The Cape.
If I were you, I'd run like hell.
Good news first. If your show has a premise as campy as framed cop becomes masked vigilante to clear his name, the only way it is ever going to work is if you play it completely straight. Not one of these characters has ever heard of the word ridiculous, and thanks to that, although this show is cheesy, it's not the bubbling vat of liquefied camp that it could be, so credit where credit is due.
This isn't my life, okay? It's not you, it's not... You're just Alice, and you fell down the rabbit hole. Now, all the rules are different. Up is down, black is white.
The bad news is that everything else in this show sucks. Really. Except Keith David, the voice of Goliath can do no wrong, but everything else in this series, from the costumes to the score to the writing, just blows.
What do they call you?
The Cape.
The Cape? Well, you'll work on it.
Let's start with the biggest, messiest thing. This lame excuse for a plot. Vince Faraday, played by David Leon, is a family man and honest cop in a city plagued by a masked terrorist called Chess. Chess blows up the new police chief, so the police work in the city ends up getting outsourced to ARC, a private security company run by this guy, Peter Fleming, played by James Frank.
There's a shocking amount of police corruption in Palm City, Detective. I hope you've kept your nose clean.
A genuine British accent on an American TV show. I wonder if this man is evil. So Vince's partner Marty, played by Dorian Masisk, tells Vince he should come work for ARC. Vince says he's only ever wanted to be a cop, so he's dubious about this. His partner tells him he should at least talk to his wife about it, which is fair enough.
You know what? Talk to Dana. She seems to be the only one of you two with any sense.
But she's even more skeptical about the job than Vince is.
You've always wanted to be a cop.
Still be a cop.
Private cop. a corporate cop.
Except now, Vince is acting like he's already accepted the job.
I thought you'd be happy.
What, did he ask her opinion just so he could take the other side? That was kind of dickish. And we don't even know the job was actually offered to him until we see him meeting the company CEO and being told to report in on Monday. Which is not how being hired for a new job goes. Even McDonald's will interview you 3 times. So now Vince is working for ARC, except he gets a PowerPoint presentation from a WikiLeaks-style blogger called Orwell about a shipment of the same kind of illegal gas explosive stuff that was used to kill the police chief. And one jump cut later, Vince is showing the shipment to his partner.
Got you, but I'm thinking recall.
I guess it would be too much to ask for them to show us Vince intercepting the illegal weapons. I mean, that might have actually been exciting to see. So it turns out that Marty is a traitor, and Vince wakes up face-to-face with Chess, who of course has to reveal his secret identity before bolting him into his mask and sending him out into the world to take the fall. Because this is a world where cops are not going to notice that there are bolts, real freaking bolts that he could not possibly have applied himself holding his mask on his head. Oh, and it turns out the British guy is evil. If you're surprised, I'm ashamed of you. So Vince runs from the cops, hides under a tanker, it blows up, and everybody celebrates, yay, Chess is dead. Except Vince isn't dead. He was saved by Keith David, who runs the Carnival of Crime, which turns out is a band of circus performers who rob banks.
Who are you? What do you want?
Money, you poor, slow-thinking man. We are the Carnival of Crime. We're professional bank robbers.
They are disappointed to learn that he is not really Chess.
When you were Chess, you were interesting. Now you're boring. Dump him in the desert and cut the fingers off. Head to, I guess.
Wait! I'm a cop who had authority over every security procedure, code, schedule, and personnel shift for the Palm City branch of ARC Security Corporation. That is a master key. It talks to alarm keypads, bypasses security codes. Now, you probably already know that ARC alarms and security troops are taking over every bank in Palm City. So now, you tell me, how much is my life worth?
Ladies and gentlemen, a symphony of what the hell. Okay, first, they tie him up without checking his pockets? What if he'd had a knife or a lighter or a lockpick in there or something? And also, now that they have the key, why do they need Vince? Are we supposed to think that these professional bank robbers don't know their way around a few security systems? Plus, for all we know, this is all happening to Vince on his very first goddamn day working at ARC. So when did he have time to become such an expert on their bank security? Oh, and look, he's joined the gang now. Just look at that. Yeah, because the best thing to do with the guy that you just beat half to death and you talked about beheading right in front of him is to arm him and let him stand behind you. Oh, that's cute. That's very, very cute. Why this doesn't blow their cover, I have no idea. I guess even the ARC masterminds who monitor every system all the time think that these thieving clowns can't possibly be connected to the only circus in town. That would be too obvious! Okay, so the next important thing that happens is that Vince finds a cape in Max's trailer. Now this is it. This is what we've been waiting for. This is the birth of our superhero. That's right, people. That is a grown-ass man waving a cape around, pretending to be a guy from a comic book. Oh, and taking it completely seriously, by the way. In the very next scene, he's apparently asked Max to train him to use the cape as a weapon so that he can dress up like his son's favorite superhero so that his kid will feel better about Daddy dying.
I'm still his father, Max. I have to show him that he isn't alone. I have to send him a message.
What message? That his dad's lost his mind?
It's not all corrupt. That one man can still make a difference.
As a man, I'm flesh and blood. I can be ignored, I can be destroyed, but as a symbol, I can be incorruptible.
Oh, and so he can clear his name to return to his family. The cape will for some reason help him do that. How? They never explain. That's right, it's the plot fulcrum. It's the whole reason the show exists, and it makes no goddamn sense.
You put that cape on to send a message to yourself.
I know why I'm wearing it. It's gonna take me home.
No, Vince. No, the cape will not get you home. Finding hard evidence that Peter Fleming is Chess is what will get you home. I fail to see the connection between the cape and evidence collection. If capes could really help complicated murder investigations, you would see them on more cops! Just to add a bit more insanity to this, The Cape is an actual comic book in this world, no doubt, so NBC could publish some webcomics online that they could publish in a hardcover later, you know, like that other show. But what this really means is that our hero is not even the real Cape. The real Cape doesn't exist. Our hero is just pretending to be the Cape. This is so goddamn meta that I don't know which way is up!
But I'm not a superhero.
So anyway, since getting back to his family is our hero's main motivation, let's take a look at that family, shall we? His son, Trip, played by Ryan Wycott, is a silent, unblinking little creeper even before Vince's so-called death. Really, this kid's attachment to his father borders on obsession. I mean, how old is he? 11? 12? If you spent any time around kids, then you know that an intelligent 12-year-old can understand mature concepts when they're presented in an understandable way. They don't think that those people in Disneyland in the masks are really Donald Duck or Goofy anymore, but Trip never questions that his fictional comic book hero is now visiting his rooftop late at night to give him life advice.
And study your math. You need to work on your math.
What? Does he have no grasp on reality, or is he just stupid? Maybe that's his problem. Maybe he's just stupid. But his mom knows it too. That's why she indulges his silences and his insistence that comic books are non-fiction without trying to get him psychological help or even, you know, talking to him about it. Really, he's not eating. He has no friends. He's getting into fights at school. He spends all his time staring at his comic books and wearing his dead father's clothing, and what does Mama do about all this? She stares at him with this weird, please don't hit me expression, and then lies on her bed and cries. Which apparently is a brilliant move on her part because her son finally remembers that he's not a sociopath quite yet and asks her to read to him that comic book that he's obsessed with. And the musical score treats this like this is some touching mother-son moment. Like a mom completely falling apart in front of her clearly troubled kid is moving. Speaking of which, check out the symphony of fail that is this scene.
Who? Who is it, honey? Someone for Dana Thompson. I was just gonna...
I'll take it. Thanks, sweetie. Yes, this is Dana Thompson.
That's not your name.
Oh, honey, I have to get a job. I need to find a job. And right now, it's just really hard having Daddy's name.
It's his name. Why are you trying to erase him?
Oh god, where do I even start? The very fact that Dana needs to find a job now implies that she did not have one before Vince disappeared, which is fine. She was probably a stay-at-home mom.
It's his name. Why are you trying to erase him?
I'm assuming she has had a job before at some point in her life, right? Maybe all of her references know her by her maiden name. She could have said that Thompson was the name on her law degree and actually set up her getting a job at the district attorney's office in the very next scene. But nope, she gets that job when she yells at her prospective employer, and law degrees, employment histories, and professional references are never even mentioned. I hate this show!
This is news to you.
Thank you, gods of TV, for Keith David. Max Malini dispenses wisdom with a glass of Merlot in one hand and a silver-tipped cane in the other. Hey, can he be the main character instead, you know, instead of this idiot?
I've broken 92 bones in pursuit of the perfect illusion. Trained a generation of escapists, acrobats, magicians. I specialize in impossible.
I bet his show would be way more interesting. Plus, we'd get to see more of Ruby, the hypnotist with the thing for women's underwear, Raya, who swings from a trapeze and, is female. Rolo, the strongman, who's one of my favorite characters, since he seems to at least have some kind of duality to his character, because he's tough and mean, but he has a soft spot for the ladies. I mean, watch as he picks up this chick who he just finds hanging around Vince's top secret hideout.
Putting on a show this weekend. It would be my pleasure to give you a personal behind-the-scenes look.
Never mind that she could actually be an ARC spy who's just saying she's Vince's friend. Nope, she's a pretty girl, so she gets to meet Vince's most secretive allies. You know, these people suck at the whole secrecy thing. I think they're actually trying to get caught. Oh no, she's finally come up. Let's get this over with. Nothing proves how hard it is to be a nerd sometimes than Firefly. This show didn't even last a full season, but it's flourishing in a DVD afterlife, and it's required viewing for anyone who's ever loved westerns, sci-fi, humor, Joss Whedon, or just plain good TV in general. And central to Firefly's plot was the mysterious River Tam, a girl who couldn't speak in complete sentences, but who possessed her own unknowable power.
Control.
The Cape obviously hopes to capture some of Firefly's magic, not to mention some of Firefly's still hungry legion of fans, by casting Summer Glau, the actress who played River, as the show's resident exposition dispenser Orwell, you know, that blogger from before. She supposedly spends all of her time in front of these awesome hologram stylish computer screen thingies collecting dirt on the art corporation to publish on her blog, but she does take the time to apply makeup and condition and roll her hair before she does so. Which makes me wonder if the people writing this show actually know any female bloggers, but it's TV.
I knew you were a girly girl at heart.
If I could sum up Orwell's relationship with Vince in one word, it would be awkward. Usually she finds him at his train station lair thing that he wanders into, and she'll give him some information, and he'll say something to the effect of, "Hey, I want my family back," and she'll get mad, and then she'll come back, and they'll investigate the mystery either together or apart. Like, they'll start investigating it separately and meet up, something like that. I think we're supposed to think also that she develops a crush on him at some point, but I'm not entirely sure, and Summer Glau is completely wrong for this part. She can spout fractured dialogue and stare into space like nobody else can, but when she's storming out of her room or snapping at Vince, she's just another tough chick, and it's boring.
Who are you, anyway?
No one special.
Oh, and did I forget to mention that Orwell's real name is Jamie Fleming, as in Peter Fleming's daughter? I mean, yeah, you'd think that would be a plot detail that would matter at some point, but it doesn't. Maybe I should have spoiler tagged that, but, you know, I'm really not going to, because it doesn't end up meaning anything to the story. Not until at the very end, anyway, when it's implied that maybe Chess is nuts and has a split personality, which seems stupid and pointless to me since both personalities seem to be exactly the same, but as his daughter, she just might share that crazy thing because we see her curled in on herself and spouting fractions of sentences and stuff. But I prefer to see those last scenes as some of River Tam's awesomeness just trying to bubble to the surface and make this an interesting show.
I can kill you with my brain.
Oh yeah, Peter Fleming. Yeah, he's the CEO of Arc Industries, a company that seems sort of like a cross between General Electric and Blackwater, and he's British and evil, and not even in the fun kind of hammy way, but in the serious, self-important sort of way.
I don't have a sense of humor.
He's also supposedly a mechanical engineer, which is important just in one scene and nowhere else.
I'm a mechanical engineer, remember?
The rest of the time, he's just like your slimy, modern Lex Luthor-style evil businessman who wants to use his massive amounts of money to, you guessed it, take over the world! And then there's Scales, who's this variety of British crime boss that has a Cockney accent, so you just know that he's violent and very sensitive about his place on the lower rungs of society. And there's some hint that he may have once been a sideshow freak, but that doesn't matter, so he works for Fleming, and then he declares war on Fleming, and then he accepts a suit from Fleming, and then he's all surprised when Fleming decides to send him up the river for all of his crimes at the very last minute, and oh my god, I don't care.
Nice.
And there's the other villains, like there's a French poisoner, there's a savant who uses numbers to tell the future, there's a living corpse dude, and they all have goofy nicknames like Kane or Dice or the Lich. You know, I don't know who decided that these nouns would make good superhero names.
A smart boy knows where they keep the drugs.
Anyway, all of those guys are done away with in one episode, and they don't have anything to do with anything, so I'm just gonna skip them all. Except I am going to wag my finger at Richard Schiff. This is what Toby Ziegler has been reduced to? Playing the one honest politician in this dreck? You were in the West Wing, for God's sake! Get back into good TV where you belong!
I am off the reservation, so drop your gun before I blow your gizzards off.
I could keep going. Just about every scene of this monstrosity has at least 3 terrible or nonsensical things going on in it, but I am not Plinkett, and I cannot get away with that shit, so I will end it here.
When you're ready to have a serious conversation, I'll be ready to listen.
Good night, sweet Cape. I applaud that you at least tried to bring superheroes to the small screen in a non-cringe-inducing way, but the brain cells that you have cost me, I will never get back. Enjoy your cancellation, and good riddance.
And those are Solomon's last words.
You have just watched The Idiot's Lantern. I am The Wire, and I am up!